Saksa.
Saksa.
Saksa. Brandenburg. Brandenburg is empty. That's a stereotype I have about Brandenburg. Lower class, rough, poor. Doesn't say empty. I'm offended. Berlin is just hipsters. I mean, it is. I love this. This is me. This is genuinely me. It's that time of year again where I really wish humans could hibernate. Hallo Leute, ich bin Katja und ihr seht Deutsch für euch. So, my brain is kind of empty this week, but I still wanted to make a video. So instead of explaining complicated things to you that I find very interesting, but also take a lot of time to actually make understandable and that a lot of you don't watch anyway, today we're going to do something lighter. We're going to look around the internet. Something you could just as easily do on your own, but for some reason it's just that much more entertaining when somebody does it for you, isn't it? So I have my tea that I'm going to sip out of my Deutschfüreuch mug, available now in my merch store, just like this blanket behind me. And we're gonna see what the internet takes us. And even though today isn't a live stream, it's kind of like a live stream format, so it really fits with my sponsor today. That is Chatterbug Streams. Chatterbug Streams is a new mobile app by company Chatterbug that teaches you German by using short live streams with native teachers. Basically, you go on the app, you sign up, you put in all the information like what are you learning, how much time do you have for it, what's your motivation, and what's the level you want to get to. And then you get to a menu with a bunch of streams, both streams that have already passed, so now they're just videos, and live streams that are about to happen. And the cool thing is that while the streams are going on, you have slides at the bottom, so you have teaching materials, but you can interact with them live. So sometimes the teachers will give you a quiz, you have a bit of time to answer, and the cool thing about this is that even though it is live, it is not automated, so it's not done by machines. You get to interact, you get to ask questions, you don't get weird examples. They're about real-world situations, and you get to pick what you want to learn, of course, depending on what you're going for. And since it's an app, all of this is pretty affordable, so it starts at $166 per month if you go for the yearly plan, but even if you go month by month, it's only $2.99, and you can quit whenever you want. The download link for the app is in the description if you're on mobile. If you're on desktop, there's also a link to the website, so you can check it out there again. Try it. It's free for a whole week, so you don't need to make a commitment before then. You get to try as much as you want in that time frame. So go check it out, especially if you've worked with the Chatterbug Learning app before. They're really dedicated to finding new and innovative ways of teaching people languages. Okay, so that's our sponsor. So let's close that and get to laughing, finding out interesting things, and other stuff. This is a map I found online. I think it was on Map Porn, which is a subreddit, just so we're clear. It's about what people call Germany all around the world. Red is German, Germania. Yellow is Alemania. Then, of course, we call ourselves Deutschland, and German is Deutsch. Blue, Niemiec, that's the Slavic version. Saxon or derivatives. Oh, interesting. Oh, I wasn't aware. Let's look up what German means in Finnish. Finnish. Deutschland. Saksa.
Saksa.
Saksa. I didn't know that. And then the same would be in Estonian, I guess. Saksamaa.
Saksamaa.
Saksamaa. Sounds like a Bavarian curse, actually. Saksamaa! Anyway, but those are the only two ones. Which is interesting because did you know that the languages of Finland, Estonia, and Hungary are related? But Hungary uses the Slavic word. So Germany and everything similar to that from the Germans, of course. Which goes back to the Germans, not the Germans of today, but the Germanen, that were a tribe back in the day. Just like the Alemannen. The Alemannen, if I remember correctly, were somewhere in the south. So I guess it makes sense that that would have spread like to France and Spain. Because what I also find interesting is that this is just the country, right? But then when you go also to the language, what the language is called, for example, in Italian, you have Tedesco, which also appears in one or two other languages. I don't remember what, but that comes from something else again. And then of course you have Deutschland. It's I think in the Scandinavian countries it's Tyskland. So that's from the same tribe as well. And then, of course, the Slavs just said Niemiec or Niemiec in Russian, which basically means can't talk. So I always find that cute. Anyway, I wonder if that had to do with which one of the Germanic tribes the people in a specific country interacted with. Moving on. So this is apparently a map of religious affiliation in German municipalities from the 2011 census. Let's see, is there anything surprising to me about this? Wow, there's no Catholics anywhere in Eastern Germany. Like just nothing whatsoever. You know, you can see the clear border here, right? For those of you that aren't aware, that's the ex-GDR. So the former Eastern Germany. A lot of people here are atheists, or at least they're not part of a church. Protestants are spread throughout, but you can clearly see that there's more in the north and in the middle of Germany. And then for some reason, I mean that I've never been surprised by the fact that, you know, southern Germany, especially Bavaria, is super, super Catholic. But the fact that West Germany is also very Catholic, I don't actually know why that is. The end is near. What syllables do German towns and villages end with? In East Germany, there's tons of places that end in OW. Pankow. But they're pronounced like O. It's not off. It's not the Russian ending. It's just O. And then I want to see about Ingen. Why isn't Ingen in here? I feel like every southern German place is called Ingen. There's tons of Bachs, but none in the north. Interesting. Okay, so this is a bunch of common traditional food in different areas. That's a lot. We're not going to go through everything, but of course we have the Bavarian Brezel, Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte. Oh, it's my favorite cake. Well, it's not my favorite cake, but it's one of my favorites. It has cherries and chocolate and cream, and it's so delicious. Spätzle, you have to know Spätzle. Spätzle is just a bunch of pasta dough dripped into hot oil. Into water. So it's cooked right away. Bratwurst. Need Bratwurst. Frankfurter grüne Soße. Frankfurter grüne Soße is a sauce, a type of sauce that is made of, I think, 7 different herbs. Or, like, it's a bunch of herbs together with either mayonnaise or cream. I'm not sure. But they love it. You can get it anywhere in Frankfurt. And outside of Frankfurt, you can't really get it anywhere. Printen. Printen are close to where my parents originally came from. So I knew this all my childhood, but a lot of people from where I grew up, which is in southern Germany, have no idea what this is. It's a really, really hard, spiced Lebkuchen, but it's baked a lot, so it's not as soft as normal Lebkuchen, which, if you don't know, that's a spiced Christmas cake, basically. Currywurst, of course, is in Berlin. It's like the Berlin thing. Oh, Baumkuchen. Baumkuchen, I have no idea how anyone came up with this, and I get that only the nobility could eat it back in the day, because it's so much work. It's basically these tiny, tiny, thin levels of cake just baked onto each other, and because you bake it after every tiny layer, you get that baked crust in between each layer, so you get a really fine pattern in there as if it were a tree. That's why it's called Baumkuchen, tree cake. And then at the end, they cover it in chocolate. Breweries in Germany. Total breweries, 1,552. And most of them are in Bavaria. That's not very surprising. Directed graph of stereotypical incomprehensibility. Language is mentioned in the most common translation of "it's all Greek to me" idiom. Oh, I see. In English, you say "it's all Greek to me" when you don't know what somebody's saying. So in Italian, you say it's Arabic, and in Arabic, you say it's Hindi. Interesting. Croatian, Czech, Macedonian, Macedonian, Serbian, Slovak, Slovene, they all use Spanish. English, Norwegian, Swedish all use Greek. Finnish and Icelandic use Hebrew. A bunch of people use Chinese. And the Chinese are just like, it's Mars. It's Mars. Like the only more complicated language you can come up with than ours is Martian. And then German uses train station. That's cute. It's not entirely accurate, but it's cute. Ich verstehe nur Bahnhof. I only understand train station. One of everyone's favorite set phrases in German. Funnily enough, now that I think about it, though, when we want to make clear that we think something we're saying is very clear and somebody ought to understand it, you can still hear people say, spreche ich Chinesisch oder was? Am I speaking Chinese or something? And it's all Greek to me. You would actually probably also translate in German to das kommt mir Spanisch vor. It seems Spanish to me. So we actually fall into this group and this bigger group. But of course it is true that we use the train station. And we're unique in that. So probably should stick to that. Ich verstehe nur Bahnhof. Oh, this! I'm so excited about this. I saved this a few days ago. I saw it and I was like, I don't wanna waste it by reading it now. This is a map with stereotypes that Germans have about the individual Bundesländer, so federal states in Germany, as well as the surrounding countries around Germany. Because of course, we as Germans, we don't have stereotypes about the whole country as much. If we do, that's mostly adopted from other countries. So let's see. Let's start with Bavaria. Lederhosen, beer, Weißwurst, Oktoberfest, weird accent, overly Catholic. I think I revealed myself with the religion map we saw earlier already. The overly Catholic thing definitely is a thing. So you just know that I'm aware this is not true for all of them. I feel like a lot of the time the stereotypes Germany internally has about Bavaria are largely the stereotypes or part of the stereotypes that other countries have about all of Germany. And that really bothers the rest of us. I always say Bavaria is the Texas of Germany, and so far I have never heard anyone say that doesn't make any sense, though. So what about Baden-Württemberg? This is where I live, so posh. I'll take that. Stingy. Oh, because of Swabians. Yeah, right. We say Swabians are stingy. And I guess they are. Sometimes they are proud of it themselves. Stubborn, arrogant, weird accent. Okay, fine. I'll just take that on the chin, I guess. This is Rhineland-Pfalz. Rhineland-Palatine. Not Palpatine. Palatine. Wine, talkative, insistent. I don't know about the insistent part, but wine, yes, that's our biggest wine region. And talkative, yeah, also makes sense. And the Saarland is just France. There is another stereotype about the Saarland that I'm not going to mention here, because YouTube might not be okay with it. We'll go north. Nordrhein-Westfalen, North Rhine-Westphalia, that's a mouthful. Rude, lower class, football, carnival. They're really big on the carnival, especially Cologne, which is in this federal state. Lower class, working class, I'd say. There's a bunch of workers there. Rude. Now here, this is something I take issue with, because I guess that, yes, you could understand people from this region to be rude, but honestly, I find them just very direct and straight up. And that can come off as rude, but I really appreciate it. And you can always strike up a conversation with someone. And just don't take everything so personally. They're not mean. They're just not there to flatter you. I like that. This is Niedersachsen. This is where Hannover is. So that's the city and the region around it that is said to have the least accent in Germany. They are supposed to speak the clearest Hochdeutsch. So that must be a stereotype here. Serious, rural, I guess there's a lot of farmers there. I would have expected that to be in Bavaria though. Boring, agriculture, in touch with nature, accent-free. There we go. Hamburg is apparently just party. I wouldn't know. I've never been there. Brandenburg. Brandenburg is empty. That's a stereotype I have about Brandenburg. Lower class, rough, poor. Doesn't say empty. I'm offended. Berlin is just hipsters. I mean, it is. I've literally been told by people outside of Germany, like while traveling, that they know that Berlin is just hipster central. And it still is, for sure. So let's quickly look at everything around. Poland. Poor thieves, cheap cigarettes. That used to be bigger though. I feel like that used to be a lot bigger. The whole like, haha, Polish people steal everything. Luckily that's gone down. The Czech Republic. Serious, quiet, confident, bad beer. Oh boy, I hope no Czechs watch this video. I know that get very particular about their beer. Switzerland. Chocolate, cheese. Is this even German? Now that is an interesting topic, not for today, but Swiss German is actually different enough from Standard German to be its own language. And still, the official language in the German-speaking parts of Switzerland is High German, German, not Swiss German. France, arrogant, depressed wine? Why depressed? Are you okay, France? Belgium, fries? Well, I guess they couldn't fit more on this, huh? And then, of course, the Netherlands, weed, windmills, cheese. Yeah, tulips too. Okay, next one. What's this? Oh, it's on a German train. Bitte aussteigen. Please exit the vehicle. Bitte aussteigen, bitte aussteigen, bitte aussteigen. Herzlich willkommen. Die Deutsche Bahn wünscht Ihnen eine angenehme Reise auf der Fahrt von Bitte aussteigen nach Bitte aussteigen. An unknown error was discovered in unknown because of unknown. Okay, let's look at some memes. This is, yeah, I mean, good luck with that. Well, this has been deep fried. Sorry, Chef, ich kann heute nicht zur Arbeit kommen. Mein Auto ist kaputt. Was ist mit dem Bus? Ich habe keinen Bus. This actually happened to me once with a teacher who thought she was really, really funny. I was late. And I came in and I was like, I'm sorry, my bus was late. And she was like, what do you mean your bus? And I was like, well, the bus, my bus that I had to take to school. What do you mean, your private bus or something? And I'm like, no, the bus that I rode to school. And she just smiled at me like she'd just come up with a banger of the year. When you compliment a German on their English. Oh, there's no sound. There's still no sound.
No, I think you are being too kind and exaggerating my language capabilities. I probably have a rudimentary grasp on the English language at best. I certainly have difficulties in idiosyncratic language and local vernacular and idioms, so to speak. But overall, my vocabulary could be improved in certain disparate topical areas. But overall, I certainly have a rudimentary grasp on the language at best.
I feel like I've seen this before, but I love it. I've seen this meme a bunch of times. Not just this video, but this sentiment of like Germans always pretend like they can't speak English and then they just like floor you. And I think this very much depends on what area of Germany you're in, but in some areas it's like that for sure. Also because some Germans really like to like show off with their English skills, which I think that's cute, but I'm sure it's annoying when when you just want to learn German. Cultural differences. Oh, this is the same guy. Look at this. Okay, let's see. I feel like I've seen this one before as well. Okay, sorry. Irish offering to the Irish.
Would you like a slice of cake?
Oh my god, that looks delicious. No, I couldn't possibly. No, stop.
Be a little bit naughty.
No, no.
Okay, take it.
Fine, you're forcing my hand. Okay, fine, I'll take it. Kuchen?
Ja, bitte.
Kuchen?
Bitteschön.
Dankeschön.
Kuchen?
Oh my goodness, that looks delicious. No, I couldn't possibly have a slice of it. Wait.
Oh, my heart hurts.
Would you like a slice of cake?
Oh, yeah, bitte.
Oh, okay. You're very confident. Rude, really.
The German directness. Like, I know it's a thing, and I'm aware that other cultures don't function like this. But why? Why is it such a problem to just say what you want? Like, I feel like I'm genuinely missing a part of my socialization as a German. To the point where, like, you're supposed to say, no thanks, no, really, no. And even though you really want something, to just rely on somebody to get that you actually don't want it. Also, it reinforces that whole problematic no is yes thing, which... Just say what you want. Actually, you know what? This wasn't my plan for today, but let's just watch some TikTok videos. I mean, fuck it, why not? By the way, I have a TikTok. You can follow me on there if you want. Let's see, can I, like, how do you look for things on TikTok? I feel like such a grandma. Oh, I want to see this. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Excuse me, young man. What means suggested gratuity?
It's just for the tip.
Suggests 20%.
You think I did a good job?
You were most wonderful. But why such much?
That's standard.
20%.
20%.
For a tip?
Yes, sir.
This restaurant doesn't pay a wage?
Most of our income comes from tips.
The world-renowned Olive Garden, a multi-million-dollar franchise, does not have the money to pay its employees fairly and must therefore rely on the customer to pay a living wage.
That's just how it's done.
This is legal.
Yeah.
So with the delicious unlimited breadsticks, I have now been served a disgusting unlimited moral dilemma.
You don't have to tip.
Of course I do. You're forced to stand on your feet all day, work long hours, do all of this with a happy face, and yet your employer does not pay you enough.
Helps keep business costs down.
Then the business should not exist!
I mean...
And this is customary in all Olive Garden establishments.
Sir, it's not just Olive Garden. It's all restaurants.
Oh. I love this. This is me. This is genuinely me. I don't know how often I have had that, like, whole thing of, like, this is shit. People should just be paid fairly in the US, and if you want to tip, you could tip, but you shouldn't depend on tips, because then you don't really decide whether you like your server, and if you don't tip, then you cost them their fucking income and livelihood. Sorry for swearing. But then again, we tip very, very low in Germany. Partly because waiters are paid minimum wage. On the other hand, we didn't even have a minimum wage until a few years ago. So it's not like, you know, any server is paid a wage here that you would think, you know, oh yeah, I'll just drop whatever I'm doing and become a server. It's weird. Like, obviously there's tips in the service industry, but it's just from a German/European perspective, it's kind of messed up to be completely dependent on tips, because that forces you to, like, go the extra mile. And I know that sounds odd to Americans because, like, yeah, no, that's what you should do in the service industry. Right? And of course, you shouldn't become a server if you don't like interacting with people. But you're also a free person. Seriously? This is an age-old video that this person did not make. This is a video from, like, 2012. By Copycat Channel. Okay, that's how far as I'm going to watch, because this still triggers me. This has been triggering me since I started this channel. If you have to yell something to make it sound aggressive, it's apparently not inherently aggressive enough. That's all I'm going to say about that topic. Okay, that's it. That's it for memes and TikToks and graphs and maps for today. Thank you for going on this internet dive with me. Let me know if you would like me to do this kind of stuff sometime in the future again, just to have some, like, nice quality entertainment content besides the learning German stuff. Because it's been a while since I last did this kind of thing. Either way, I had fun. As always, thank you to everyone who is supporting DFE on Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is yet, you can check it out on the link in the description that's also linked on the screen right now. It just means that you are supporting DFE with a financial contribution. In exchange, you get to be on this list and also get rewards such as charts, some of which are kind of like the ones we just looked at. And my camera's battery just bit the dust, so I'm gonna just do the rest as a voiceover because there's really not that much point to, you know, letting the battery charge just to say these last few words. If you want to check out my Patreon, support me over there, I'd be very happy. Thank you to everyone who's already doing it, and a special thank you to all the people pledging $10 and up. Once again, go check out Chatterbug's streams and tell me if you like it. I think it's a cool new way to learn a language. And other than that, I'll see you next time. Bis dann. Tschüss.